Finally. Oh, good Lord. What's up, guys? Alright, we got it going now. I'm gonna let it run for a minute. Fuego's getting set up. Grab my charger, my portable, the little box and the cord sitting right on the counter there. The little gray box and the cord. Yep, bring that. Plug it into your phone.
Sweet.
And we'll turn it on. There you go. It'll charge now. Plug it in your phone now. You can do it.
Like, just do it.
You can
so,
do it.
first and foremost, guys, happy birthday, Cecil.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Happy birthday, Cecil.
I hate you very much.
Happy birthday. Love this
boy.
guy. Don't you love him, too?
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday, Cecil. Okay, it's over with.
I hate
Done
you very
with.
much. Okay, thank you. God damn it.
You're a shitty drummer sing to you, man.
Channel. I gotta pull up this stupid thing so we can read the things live and the things and all the things.
Oh, but the live.
No, the
comments.
the live.
We want the interaction with you guys. That's why we started doing it in this fashion in the first place. So
1 week ago. What?
yeah.
1 week
Say
ago.
what?
God damn it! And it's, the thing's all off. Here we go. I just need to change that and save it. Boom.
What's up, Brady?
That'll automatically save. Hey, guys.
We have a very large crowd for your birthday,
What's
son.
up, everyone? Hey, thank you. What's up, Losers Club? Hey, what's up, Rob?
Losers Club.
Good to see you guys. All right, so let's make sure we're still good on this. Yeah, we're pretty
I was
good.
definitely Losers Club back as a kid. Holy shit.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, sorry I had to wear my ugly Breathe Right strip because I've been a little under the weather and allergies have been particularly bad, and I'd rather breathe than focus on vanity for this episode.
Well, it's the changing of seasons, so it makes complete sense, sir. There is nothing for you to feel bad about. And I don't feel bad about this first story. However, I gotta say, there's some people who are approaching it with some skepticism. They think it's.
By the way,
they think it's an act of desperation.
I'm Cecil Laird.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Jaime and Fuego.
And this is the Horror Show News with booze. In case you couldn't already tell.
Frankenstein nerdful things. I got a big old beer, and we're doing things. Anyway,
all right, go ahead.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying that this first story is kind of an act of desperation from Cameron and the crew behind this new Terminator trilogy, which I'm extremely excited about. But it's almost like where with the last one they brought Arnold back, and then with this one they're going to bring Linda Hamilton back, and so they're like, is the story going to be good? I actually am going to take the John Schnepp approach. Shout out to Collider Video. He was at the Q&A that James Cameron and what's his name? That kid who directed Deadpool.
Oh, Tim Miller.
Tim Miller.
Kid Tim Miller.
Yeah,
Tim Miller,
yeah, that's a Kevin Smith reference. So he was on hand at that Q&A in LA that they did, and they talked extensively about how they're going to approach the story, what they're going to do with it. Arnold is back again, and then Linda Hamilton is back again, and one of the best sci-fi horror franchises ever is Terminator, but the last few entries really petered off, as we know, man. Are you excited about her return, or do you think it's an act of desperation?
Well, I know they said they're going to ignore Genesis, but wouldn't they have to ignore 3 also?
Yeah, they're actually, it's going to be a direct, once again, this is the retconning that is becoming so commonplace. And
Halloween, we just talked about it last week.
And what they wanted to do with Alien, you know, and didn't happen, unfortunately. But this is going to be a direct sequel to Judgment Day.
That's awesome.
Is what they're saying.
But that's great. I mean, but does that mean they're going to get fucking Edward Furlong back?
There is jokes about it.
They should.
Like murmurings. I think so too, man.
They should. That gives a dude a reason to lose 50 pounds finally and get back in the spotlight.
Which is, from what I was told and what I researched, the reason that they brought in Nick Stahl for 3 was because dude had let himself go and he was like not in, you know, the capacity to actually play the role again. You know what? For what it's worth, of all of the sequels that Cameron was not involved with, I really love the 3rd film.
Really?
I really do. I think
the Terminatrix?
I think it's better than Salvation and Jenny Smith or Sega Genesis or whatever the fuck that one was called. But I had more fun with Genesis than I did with 4, than with the weird one with Christian Bale shouting at people on the set, and that video leaked, and that shit was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that James Cameron is regaining the rights next year, the fact that he has kind of groomed Tim Miller, the fact that Cameron, according to what John Schnepp was saying, man, he's like, Cameron is in the writer's room every week. You know, he's sitting down with them at least once a week. He's like, well, I've got Avatar this day. I've got, you know, Terminator this day. I'm working on this day. You know, the fact that he broke down the way his weeks are going right now with everything he has on his plate. And of all people, you know, Schnepp gave me some confidence, at least for being firsthand and, you know, there on hand for the discussion about this. So I actually am pretty excited. And, you know, Cameron is like, well, as far as badass females go, there's older guys like, you know, Stallone and, you know, Willis and whatever, but we don't have an older woman kicking ass and being
That's
awesome.
true.
And so I thought that was a cool point for him to make, personally. So
That's true, yeah. And even though they're exes now, the fact that they
and they had a nasty divorce from what I read.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that they're gonna sidestep it and she's gonna come back, because honestly, the last thing I saw her in was a straight to DVD sci-fi original movie where like invisible aliens attacked and stuff. It was really, but she looks aged. In that movie, she looked really aged.
Honestly, I thought she looked aged in fucking Judgment Day, man. You know, I mean,
she looked great in Judgment Day. Are you kidding
really?
me?
Well, between the soft, like, you know, suppleness of her, I mean, it was
I did not like her look in the first movie.
Really? Well, she had the hair that was all big and stuff. It was
the hair
honestly
and the sweater.
It was very much like the Ellen Ripley turn in a lot of ways, you know.
Ellen Ripley though got real sexy by the end of it when she got down into her skivvies at the very end.
Oh well, I'm talking from the first film to the second film, though.
No, I know.
I mean, yeah.
I just thought Linda Hamilton looked way hotter in the second movie for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
definitely. Always did. Always found that more sexy.
She was brutal. Damn.
She was awesome. She was sexy as hell.
That is honestly one of the best movies ever made, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And
that's why James Cameron's my all-time favorite director. He's made nothing but my favorite movies. Terminator 2 is in every discussion. Aliens is in every discussion, and for me, The Abyss is in every discussion.
Yeah, that's your favorite of all of his films, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Birthday Boy here, man. His favorite films, James Cameron.
Oh, Birthday Boy's getting attacked by allergies.
Lots of them. You know, I was. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I was never a big fan of The Abyss, but I need to rewatch it because.
Have you watched the director's cut?
I watched it as a kid, and unfortunately, since I had seen so much of his like scarier stuff, and I know it's more of like a introspective, little bit of sci-fi undersea kind of thing. I don't know. I think I need to revisit it properly.
The director's cut of The Abyss is amazing. James Cameron made not only 3 of the best movies, but 3 of the best director's cutted versions of these movies.
Isn't it funny how so many of his things have director's cuts?
Well,
Where's the True Lies director's cut?
Those 3 specifically have like 30 extra minutes per movie. Yeah. It's crazy. Like
I love the Aliens
25 and
cut.
the
so
Aliens
good.
Director's cut, the Abyss director's cut makes it a completely different movie.
Also, the T2 director's cut is great because it has that scene where they talk about taking the chip out of him and just like killing him right there. And everything.
They do, and also the T-1000 going to John Connor's home and like feeling everything, and you know, like that was really neat. Like they did so much cool stuff. There was actually more to the scene at the end when the T-1000's chasing after John. Like
there was.
There's a lot of really cool stuff.
That was one of the few things that my father was like, I didn't cry when my dad died. I didn't cry when I lost my dogs, but when they were lowering Arnold into that molten lava, whatever the hell, I cried. I was like, Dad,
I order you not to go. I order you not to go. I love that movie.
Yeah, my dad's a big softie, right?
That got me too, dude. That was one of the earliest ones I remember crying.
Totally made me tear up, and the fact that my badass canine trainer,
I saw it when I was 12.
Hunter father, you know,
maybe even 11, depending on when in '92 it came out.
Well,
that was the first big budget action movie I remember seeing in the theater.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was a little too young for that one. I'm a few years behind this guy. We're both in our early 30s, and I'm kidding.
No, exactly. You're not kidding. Nope. I'm definitely not Kevin Smith's favorite age.
No, not at all.
Definitely
didn't get a tweet liked by Kevin Smith today.
Nope, definitely not.
Not at all. I'm sure of it. Anyway, we're going to jump to the second.
Wait, before we do, let me just give a shout out to some people that are here.
Let's do it.
Michelle Kelly, Rodimus Prime, Brady Wilson, Tom H., Tony Robinson, Tiki Balls, Shoot McKay, Amanda Darrington.
Shoot McKay is awesome. That guy's badass.
Wences is here. Chrissy Bug is here.
I'm actually glad Edward and I finally connected on Twitter, too, because we have some similar musical tastes.
Oh, good. Let's see. I know I saw some people earlier on. Drew Manning. I don't see that name that often. So he said, love the channel. Glad to be here on your special day. Thank you. Damian Dennis is here. Scuba Steve. Yep. Joseph Savaris. Chris Wright. Got lots of good people here. So
Yeah.
thank you all for joining us on my birthday. I appreciate it. My birthday.
Yeah, and just to further prove that the 26th of September is one of the coolest days ever to be born, my middle brother, Johnny Callahan, John Edward, yep, he is also born today, so shout out to him. He's probably not watching because he's out drinking beers and watching like Premier League or something. But
well, I think the only
recently born.
The only two stories I can possibly jump on would be 2 and 7. So I'm gonna do that.
So do 2, dude.
2 is, guys, the fact that the creator of the original Underworld film franchise has apparently been tapped to create a TV version of the franchise, which I think is a good idea. I think it could definitely be a serialized thing for sure.
Easily. He said it's going to be less comic booky and campy and actually explore the lengthy mythology, which I thought the execution in most of the Underworld films sucked, but the story that they
Vampires
built
versus
and the
werewolves
history
is so
was
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, the death dealers, and it could be really sweet. I think it could lend itself very well to a TV series for horror fans.
Exactly. In the proper hands, you have so much you can explore here. You know, it's a centuries-long conflict, and so I'm actually all for it. And the fact that Len Wiseman, the guy who actually created Underworld and was behind all of the different films.
Len Wiseman,
yes, exactly, Len Wiseman. The fact that he would be pairing with Sony Television, and then he's going to be producing it with his own production company, which is Sketch Films.
Is it on Netflix or no?
There is no, according to Deadline at least, network lined up yet, but he wants it to be like a cable network or a streaming network because he wants to have freedom to, make it pretty much R-rated.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Which is exciting. Although, I mean, you guys could probably expect we would not have a Beckinsale or whatever, but then again, a lot of people thought Rise of the Lycans, the third one, where she wasn't there, was good. And I didn't mind it so much.
It was pretty good because of the story it told, and because I think that's one of the ones we got the giant werewolf in, maybe not.
Yes.
Maybe that was 4.
No, maybe that was 4.
That was when she came back.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah.
It's a rich universe, and that's the thing that I guess we're saying here. So I'm actually excited at this prospect. I think it could be cool.
That's fair.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead. What's next?
Man, jumping into another... This is going to be the weirdest story of the week, but we have to cover it because it's prolific and because a lot of people watch the CW, and a lot of people are familiar with Archie Comics, and with the Melissa Joan Hart television series. So the CW is apparently developing something entitled The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Yeah, Sabrina as in the teenage witch from the Archie universe, and Riverdale has been a success for them, and Riverdale, they totally like retrofitted to be a thriller, murder, mystery bit of craziness. I haven't watched shit of that because I'm not really curious, but it's been popular, it's done well, and I've actually had a lot of horror friends of mine, like Lou, tell me, dude, it's pretty good, but, I have so much else to watch, I haven't checked it out. But she's going to be essentially investigating, like, significantly horrific stuff. In the press release, according to Deadline, they compared it to The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby, which made me laugh.
It's a little aggressive, but...
Very aggressive.
But they did do, a more serious sort of version of it with The Secret Circle, I thought, with the witches. It didn't have a talking black cat or anything, but I heard, I heard Kevin Smith talking about it, and that's the only reason I can speak on it.
He's a CW alumni after all those
He's a CW alumni, but he actually watched, I guess, Sabrina. I never watched Sabrina, but I do know about it.
I saw like 2 or 3 episodes.
And he's like, if you think about it, she's the daughter of the devil, and there's a lot of drama and scares that you can mine from something like that.
And that's their intention.
Yeah, and like she's trying to use her magic for good against the forces of darkness that ultimately are serving her father.
Despite her posterity or whatever.
Right, like when you put it through that lens, okay. And being a person that really not only watched but really enjoyed the Teen Wolf series, I mean, that was a really dark reboot of a classically funny-ish sort of movie series. So it's not, to me, out of the question that it could work as a serious horror series.
No, I honestly have no skepticism either, man, because of the fact that, I mean, the CW was the WB beforehand, as some people might not know, and Buffy was fantastic. They're still doing Supernatural spectacularly, except for season 12, which was just okay.
That was rough.
Hopefully season 13 is better, but I actually have confidence in the people trying to develop this that it has potential. It could be pretty freaking cool, man. So I'm all for it.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, I'm more game to give it a try than if it had been a direct
give it a try.
than if it had been a direct sort of silly sitcom-y reboot.
So should they bring back Melissa Joan Hart should they bring back Melissa Joan Hart as the aunt then, or one of the aunts?
You know they will. You know they will.
She needs work now,
Coast,
right?
Yeah, this is we are talking about Sabrina. It's a teenage witch. This is a dark reboot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I guess we could have been more clear about that.
It's a full-on horror reboot on the CW.
Hey, Ms. Bond, good to see you.
Hola, Ms. Bond. It's called The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That is the working title the CW has going, and it's going to be not a sitcom. It's going to be a horror show, like straight up a horror, serialized craziness. All right, let's get to the next story then. We just saw that Marsha Parker has arrived.
Hi, Marsha.
We love Marsha Parker. She's the best. All right, so The Lost Boys is being developed as a television series, but it's apparently also being developed as a Broadway musical. I was looking at Marsha Parker because I thought she was gonna like walk into the frame for a moment there. Yeah. You should come say hi to all the guests. They love you. It's called A Lost Boys Story, and it's going to be a prequel about the Lost Boys before, you know, the interaction that we saw in the film. Interesting thing, though, Cecil, that as I was, like, doing a little bit more research, so the song, Cry Little Sister,
Thou shalt not fall.
Yeah, the guy who composed that song is the one composing this entire
That's
musical.
really exciting, actually.
That is dope, right?
That's really exciting.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. First off, that's my favorite song from the whole soundtrack.
Yes,
Second of all, that's
so
the
good.
best song I've ever seen a stripper perform to in a strip club.
Even better than the Sax Man.
This was that's an extra. If you imagine a stripper dancing to that song, "Cry Little Sister," it's just as sexy as you imagine it to be.
It should be. Did she have fangs in though? If she had fangs and blood, I'd be like.
I don't think so. I think
I'd
it was
like,
just a real clever thing. Oh my God, Jesus!
I'm
So
kidding.
that's how it works for you.
I'm
Lord.
kidding.
You become a jackhammer.
I'm always a jackhammer, motherfucker.
All right. Well, yeah. So I don't know what to say after that. No. The fact that it's a musical, like I know musicals can work, and it's funny. I might have balked at this news even more had we not just watched a trailer for an upcoming horror musical that actually looks pretty amusing.
Oh,
so,
didn't it? It was Anna
and the Apocalypse.
Yeah, you guys need to check out that trailer. It's awesome.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, believe it or not. So, I have faith that horror and musicals aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. So, yeah, Little Shop of Horrors, perfect example. Exactly.
Little Shop of Horrors, and also, and as we talked about during that trailer reaction, the Once More with Feeling Buffy.
Buffy,
episodes,
yeah. Well, there's been a few. I mean,
two of the best Buffy episodes were Hush. And
there's
Once More with Feeling,
the one big horror musical that I've never seen that Susie loves.
No, you haven't seen Repo? Oh my God, Repo's so good, dude. Yeah, that's a shout out to a fan of the show, Vanessa Burke, who is a big fan of that shit, and she was like messaging me for a while, trying to get me to watch Devil's Carnival something, or it's like a sequel. Nah, I don't know.
Dylan Thomas is here. S. Rose is here.
Yeah.
And KH Wendy has joined the fray. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Birthday boy. Birthday boy.
Yep. I'm birthday boy.
I already did that.
We already did that. Yeah, I know.
He was so mad at me, Marsha.
I wasn't mad. So mad. How dare you? They were watching. They know I wasn't so mad. All right,
love this guy, man.
What's next, Fueguissimo?
Right.
This one's definitely for you because I never actually watched what this is going to excite fans of.
Damn, you haven't seen the
I watched
anime.
the first like 30 minutes of it, and I think I fell asleep to it one time, and I never got back to it.
So horror, it's crazy, like a big mutated blobby monster.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
dude.
I need to try it.
Yeah, at the very end. So
the motorcycle gang, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah,
so
okay.
one of the most esteemed and respected animes of all time, which is Akira, which is pronounced properly. It's not Akira, guys. Sorry, it's Akira. Akira. Yeah. They finally have presumably found the director at Warner Brothers. They've tried everybody over the years, from most recently Jordan Peele was attached, and then he was like, "No, I want to go do original material." But I guess Mr. Taika Waititi, who I have Taika Waititi, man, who
Why
I
are
have
you saying Taiki? It's Taika.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
I effed up his name. Sorry, guys. Taika Waititi. Thank you, News with Booze. I'm gonna take just a quick little sip down.
In the Taika Waititi room. In the Taika Waititi room.
But dude, Taika Waititi has done such amazing shizzle. He started out with stuff like Eagle vs. Shark, and then he worked on Flight of the Conchords, and then he
S.
really...
Rose, it's your birthday today too. Wow, happy birthday!
Nice, yeah. 26s are the raddest. Yeah, September babies, yo. But What We Do in the Shadows was what really kind of revealed him to a North American audience. You know, because all the Flight of the Conchords stuff was, you know, very like low-level HBO, and you know, all of this stuff before was really indie New Zealand and whatnot. But he's about to direct, well, he's directed it already, but you guys are about to see Thor Ragnarok, which for me looks like the raddest, most badass, hilarious, insane, and
the
awesome.
radassness.
Yeah, oh, dude, have you not
it
loved
does look fun.
Have you not loved those trailers?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bright and beautiful and fun. And also, he did a film called the something of the Wilder People, the Hunt of the Wilder People. Anyway, I saw it at the Film Bar, which is an independent spot here in Phoenix. But he is an incredibly talented director, and he has been tapped by Warner Brothers to direct Akira. Yeah, Akira, as lots of people call it. It's one of my favorite anime movies of all time. I have all 6 volumes of the manga. It is just... I'm wondering how they could update it, you know, because it's futuristic. It's basically a rebuilt Japan, decades ahead after, you know, all of the, you know, World War II, nuclear, you know, radioactivity and shit like that. But maybe they could switch the stuff and say, oh, after that nuclear plant melted down, which a lot of people are saying has condemned, you know, much of the seafood and stuff over there, and also is still spreading Fukushima, something like that. I think that's the plant that melted over there. Anyway, the fact that Waititi is directing this just excites the frig out of me. This is about a biker gang, as Cecil said, and yet one of them has a very special power, and then he's like taken in by a government organization, and in turn he decides to like decimate and leave them almost like Carrie status. You know, he's got like telekinetic powers and all kinds of other stuff, and then he mutates and molds into this like huge, aggressive, crazy creature. Dude, it is such a great story. I know I've spouted a lot of stuff at you right now.
No, I'm interested in it, and
yeah,
if there's a big
good.
creature and stuff, I need to get back to it. I just was really tired one night when I threw it on. I was watching. It's funny. I like going to sleep watching cartoons. Yeah. If I can help it. So
this is not your average cartoon, though.
Yeah, no, and that one I felt was boring because I fell asleep. I don't know. It was a vicious cycle.
It starts very slow. It does, you know, and then you know, once they actually get to, you know, the transformation, where we're talking over an hour into it, but you know, the government is taking in telekinetic kids. It's actually very Stephen King-y in a lot of ways. You know, I mean, the government is taking them in for their own, you know, possessive beings and whatnot. But yeah, that guy paired with this, even though he has never done anything that's supremely serious, and I really don't know how much comedic stuff needs to be there for Akira, I still think visually and stylistically he could be an awesome fit. You know, much more so than Jordan Peele, and that's not to knock him. You know, he can stick with horror, and Waititi can...
Well, I think Thor is going to be a better example of that than like What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, that was horror mockumentary. So,
yeah. This is going to show Thor will show more of what he can do with big budgets. So
totally,
that'll convince people a little bit more, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So what's next, Fuego? We're returning.
Yeah, another one. I know. And the reason I'm happy to gush about this one is because, as if you guys have seen Hail to Stephen King before, you know that N, which was from Just After Sunset, is one of my favorite Stephen King short stories that he's ever done. And Cecil, it basically explores the idea of what if insanity is contagious. You know, what if somebody has an experience that freaks the fuck out of them so badly that when they talk about it to somebody else, it compels them to go and explore the place where that transpired, and then in turn they become crazy as well. And so N was done originally as a short story, then it was a like visual comic that was on iTunes, and then Marvel did a comic proper. Man, legitimately scary. And they're legitimately scary for me, at least, because it's about this guy who is driving around and he goes to a field. For whatever reason, he's compelled to go to this field that's like chained off, and there's 8 stones that surround this field, and each one has a face on it, and it's scary as hell looking, and it's like pretty much a thinny of sorts, if you're familiar with like Stephen King terminology. So it's a portal area, and so as he walks over and looks at all of these faces, he doesn't like go somewhere else, but he is so messed up in the head that, you know, he just goes crazy and then goes and consults a psychiatrist, and then the psychiatrist, after hearing the story from him, in turn goes and starts investigating the place. And yeah, it's the is insanity contagious type thing. And I don't know why they're changing it to, they're calling it 8 for the TV series, and it's apparently going to be about the 8 stones as opposed to N. But dude, this is legitimately, I have to at least let you read the Marvel comic if you haven't before, man.
I thought I did, but maybe not. Yeah, no, I'll read it. If
Beautiful
bring it to me,
artwork.
We'll review it for the channel.
I would love to.
We can do a Hail to Stephen King comic book review crossover.
That would be badass. That would actually save me work for a week.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys see N though, or read it, or check out the graphic novel? I thought it was awesome, and so yeah, let us know if so.
All right, well, that's going to lead us to our last story, which I'm super excited about,
yeah, so I can
and that is the fact, that well, you didn't actually write down the date, you son of a bitch.
I want to say it's September.
I think it's September something, yeah.
6th,
but
I want to say.
Guys, that's the fact that we already have a release date for Chapter 2 of Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
And that is September something or other, 2019.
I will put my money on September 6th, but I'm double checking on my news notes right now. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, so less than 2 years from now, you'll be able to get your eyes on some new Pennywise.
2 years from so
I'm a poet
far
and I didn't know it.
Yeah.
Well,
dude,
but they have to make the movie, man.
Well, I mean, especially for the sheer fact that they said they're going to film the kids and have flashbacks.
Do you want them to have shitty CG, or do you want them to have 2 years worth of work to get the CG done?
I don't. I mean, film the stuff with the kids now, because my only worry is that, like, for instance, Eddie's voice drops, or something like that, because that was one of the big things in the Dark Tower, where you could tell that kid's voice changed, like the timbre of it changed in certain scenes, and there were certain scenes before other scenes where he was speaking in a higher pitch. And so yeah, I mean, get it nailed down, man. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. September 6th. I was right, guys. I'm speaking off of memory. There
Good job.
Go. Yeah.
From the left coast, I don't like the way you phrased this question. Why aren't you excited about Gerald's game? Neither of us said we weren't excited about Gerald's game. In fact, we did a trailer reaction, we loved it, and he did a whole Hail to Stephen King about it.
I reread the book.
The
book is fantastic.
That's a frustrating way to ask a question.
Yeah,
from the left coast. Come on.
Yeah, come on, from the left coast. The book is great, and there was one bit in the back half that I had totally forgotten about the serial killer. I had forgotten all about that. I thought it was all about her trying to escape, and the dog is eating on the... And this is all spoilers, I'm sorry. Thank you, News and Booze. And the dog chewing on her husband's dead body and stuff like that, and the loon screaming out there, and the stuff with her father, the flashbacks. But I'd forgotten about the guy carrying the bag that was like made of human flesh, and then she goes to the court hearing and all that stuff. I forgot all about that because I wasn't really as into Gerald's game when I first read it. But second read, damn, it's great.
All right, so yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this week's story. So go into your comments. Jerks Productions is here. What's up? Thank you, sir.
Shall we check the comments really quick?
Yeah, I mean, I've been keeping up on them pretty much.
Cool.
We don't know who they're gonna get for the older roles. Everyone's been speculating for a long time.
They still haven't announced it yet. Yeah. Also, another big
thing. I
thing.
agree with some of yours, but not all of them.
Yeah. oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I watched that part of it.
Yeah. I know, which was way in the back half, and that's why that guy was talking smack to me. Another cool thing to mention is that Stephen King's It surpassed, at least as far as modern dollars, The Exorcist to be the highest grossing horror film ever.
Horror movie of all time.
But with the adjustment and stuff, dude, with the adjustment, The Exorcist almost made $1 billion, which is like crazy. So it's never gonna touch those levels. But as far as current tracking, it's the highest grossing horror film ever made, despite the fact that Muschietti and everybody associated with it said it's not a horror movie, which makes me slap my face, dude. I'm just like, what? Yes, come on, guys, own it up, own it up.
Yeah, I think it is definitely a horror movie.
Yeah, no, they were very deliberate. Marsha Parker chimes in that it is definitely a horror movie. I agree. The fact that they're trying to distance themselves from the genre. Are you really thinking this might have Oscar buzz? No. That's not happening.
Jerks, you just watched Sweet today. You hadn't seen it before, huh? I'm glad you liked it.
Hopefully my performance wasn't that shitty.
We made all of Sweet for less than $2,000, Jerks. So that's
Well,
if that's any benchmark for you.
And that was something that we were thinking about as we recorded the single the other day. We were like, how much money do we have to get together for the music video?
Yeah, man. I mean, you just, you know, you gotta... Some things are worth it.
No, well, this is worth it for us, obviously, because we trust your vision and we want to, you know, get it done good. And so that was something, as we recorded on Sunday, dude, we were like, the next thing we get, because we had to get like 100-something together for that. And then I'm like, well, it's going to be a lot more for the music video, guys. Yeah. So
that's true.
Yeah.
That's, well, it depends on what we want to do. Oh, no, that's my fault. Sorry about that, guys.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Microphone down. Microphone down.
Little backtracking on your page and watch the comedy skits too. Aren't they great, dude? That was what. Okay, so Brandon, I gotta say Brandon is the Jerks thing. That was what originally like enticed me to want to be with this channel. The fact that they were having fun with horror, you know, and that's something that I still feel all of you viewers right now that we do wonderfully is that. We take horror seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. And I think that's a really awesome approach, and we have fun with it, and we don't get all like, me, and, you know, like I'm so, like, nose in the air and stuff with it, so...
yeah, no.
Marshall Parker, on the other hand,
yeah, if you guys
sitting just beside me.
If you guys are new to the channel, go to our horror comedy shorts playlist because we've made about 8 of them at this point.
Oh, Zed was so good. I just showed that
we
to
made
Kyron
2 horror shorts.
And
they
laughed so hard.
Yeah, so we have Zed the Zombie Hunter, which is about a hick zombie hunter. We have 2 episodes of that plus a Zeddy Hill sort of short fun.
That was their favorite.
We have Troll Board was I think one of our earliest ones. Marshall Parker was in Zed the Zombie Hunter. And
what you should really do.
Yep, we did What You Should Really Do. We did
great.
Siri Susie. That was fun. So basically, I wrote all of the shorts, and I just would come up with a horror trope and try and write a funny comedy sketch about it. And there's anyway.
We love Masha. Masha is
I'm
awesome.
confused by the comments. Cecil out. What? Hey, Dave, the cameraman is here. Hey, Dave, good to see you. What happened to the first girl on the channel? Are you talking about Morgan?
Probably talking about Morgan. Lots of people.
Yeah, Morgan exited the channel about 2.5 years ago.
Kids and stuff.
Yeah, she's got like 2 kids now, and
post
I think she's still modeling, but
post photos of breastfeeding on her Instagram.
Oh, really? Well, you're gonna send a lot of people to her Instagram.
Yeah, probably.
Damian Dennis says hi, Marsha. Although Jerks Production says you suck dick, haha. I don't think he was talking to you, Marsha.
Who was he talking to?
I don't know.
Brandon, who are you talking to?
I don't know.
We'd have to review the entirety of the comments. Jamie, did you cover the Dark Tower news? I came in late. You know, that's one thing.
Why did you read it as Jamie?
Yeah, it's not.
It's Jaime.
It is Jaime. I don't know what the hell. I have so many people mistakenly call me Jamie, and goddamn it,
you just went with it.
Crazy. Well, that's because I didn't even realize initially it was Rob, and then it was
talking to you.
Yeah. You know, I didn't mention it, Rob, as a main topic because of the fact that I don't even think we're gonna see this series, but the Dark Tower movie sucked and really disappointed me, and there is still chatter about this former Walking Dead series runner putting together a television series about young Roland, and then King did a interview just a couple days ago on his birthday where he was saying, you know what, if we do this, it's going to be a full-on reboot, and it's going to be, you know, different casting, different everything, and that makes sense. And it honestly makes me wonder if they would still go with an African-American Roland, or if they would go with more of a Spaniard, like the way that they talked about him in the books, you know? So I was always a big fan of. Sorry, I totally cut you off.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Javier Bardem was originally cast, and I thought that was a perfect Roland, man. Seriously, Spaniard, brown guy, perfect Roland. That was my guy.
No, but what we do want to mention to you guys is we are going to be back online live tonight.
Oh yeah,
because Marsha is here. We are going to. She was kind enough to buy for Fuego as a late birthday present for Fuego and an early birthday present for me. Wait, no, today is my birthday. Yep. A birthday present for me.
Marsha.
She bought us tickets for the general admission for Jeepers Creepers 3 because I thought it'd been sold out and we weren't going to get to go because of the Cinemark. All the Cinemark showings had been sold out, and the AMC showings had been sold out too. But then they added all the Harkins shows.
All the Harkins people.
So now we have general admission. So we're going to see Jeepers Creepers 3 tonight. Fuego, Brittany, and I, and if I can convince Marsha, we're all going to review Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 between now and then. And we'll present those, shit, maybe even at the same time. I don't know, just flood you with Jeepers Creepers material. Or release those as the week goes on. But we will do a, we could do a live, well, Marsha, do you want to do a live one afterwards, or do you want to do a recorded one? Yeah, we'll do a live Jeepers Creepers review for you guys tonight. So, the movie starts at 7. Let's check the running time on it.
Should we spoil though? That is the question that I ask.
We'll record our spoil section.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we'll just. That's a good question.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because it's not a traditional release, you know. So
we could do a spoiler section at the end, but then people that sign on in the middle of the spoiler section, that would be a bummer.
True.
Guys, maybe we'll do a non-spoiler, and then we'll record a quick spoiler section afterwards. All right, so let me just see what the running time is.
Checking that out. And gracias to all of you guys who tuned in for this, man. It is always supremely appreciated. We have so much love for you, our fellow.
It's an hour and 40 minutes. So if it's an hour and 40 minutes, it starts at 7. There might be a preview or two. We'll probably get going by no later than 9:30 Pacific Standard Time. Yeah. If not a little bit beforehand.
Yeah, I'd say 9:30 is good.
So yeah, stay tuned for that, you guys. Well, don't stay tuned. Come back for that.
Please return.
You know what? Maybe I'll make an event and then delete that event.
So,
all right. Well,
just like the last
just
one.
like this one. Yep. All right. Well, thanks very much for watching, guys. That's gonna do it for the Horror Show News with Booze this week. I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego.
And remember,
happy birthday, Cecil.
And that. Thank you. Woo!